Okay, I got an interesting choice here over at Suwathi, which I'm exploring next. It ended up with only Earth-like gravity, even though it's a large planet. Bonus. Unfortunately, it ended up with a corrosive atmosphere, 75% hydrograph, which isn't necessarily bad. You'll see some of the reasons of that. Now, the three terrain locations I could get were here, here, and here. I haven't determined yet which one I'm in. This one obviously looks the most interesting. The other two I'm pretty much balanced on. This one's going to require a 6 to get to, and I think I'm going to blow a chance. If I don't get that right away, I think I'm going to blow a month to try to get that, because again, alien cities, alien locations. The disadvantage there is, if we look over here on my charts, I gotta remember to look through the camera rather than just kind of point it and pretend I know what I'm doing. Liquid surface and liquid submerged both run 4 movement points on foot and only 1 for the rover. The rover really loves that. The exploration expenses, though, are going to eat up the difference anyway, so it's not going to be cheap to explore. What I chose to do is I'm not going to send the rover. The Earth-like gravity means I don't have a lot of points, so I'm sending the commanding officer with his high intellect that'll help me deal with aliens if there are any, and the medical officer. That way I don't have to take a med kit. It's going to take the science officer, but I got to bring these arm rigs, and with those they have a 4 capture combat anyway. Grabbed a couple of stun bombs. They're cheap. What the hell? Not bringing the net gun. I don't think that's a good purchase across the board. I'm also carrying 30 shuttle supply. That's all I could carry. And in order to be able to handle a foot expedition better, I sent the Ambot instead of the Specibot. That's going to give me less combat capability. That's a shame, but I could only afford to bring 1 bot. And let me make sure this is what I want to bring, because I have a lot of carrying capacity with these armor rigs. They give me 8s there. So I have 1627 carrying capacity. With an E-cage, the holograph maybe 3, the bot kit probably 6. I can leave the toolkit back, although that'll be a pain with the arm rigs. If those get damaged, I'm in trouble. 6, 7, 8. It's Earth-like gravity, so I get the orange supply check. 8 out of my... You know what? I think I can go with the Specibot. I just don't like going into combat situations without that thing. It's really good in combat, and I just don't feel like I have that terribly strong combat. It's going to mean I'm going to carry less supplies with me, but that's okay. I mean, I carry as many in the shuttle, but I'll be exploring out. My hope is to get this location. So, we're on 87. All the bots weigh the same. This is going to be a pain. Okay, 87's up here. I roll a 4. That's going to be hex 1520. That's down here, water, all kinds of interesting terrain. And this is the reason I didn't take the rover. One of the big reasons is, what if I got swamped? The rover can't even travel through that, so I'd be carrying a lot of weight with no good reason. I'm going to try again, see if I can get that 6. I do not. Looks like I'm going to be landing at 1803. Paragraph 104. That puts me all the way up here. Again, interesting terrain, but some mountains and stuff, we'll see. And what did I say there? 134. The shuttle is set down on top of an ivy-covered slope. A heavy mist over the region prevents further visual information. The climate is tropical. Deploy the characters, bots, and tools on the expedition display, and explore the landing hex. Okay, so I'll set up my mission and see what we get. Kind of interesting terrain because the corrosive atmosphere, well, aside, has caused me to have the armor rigs, which means I'm holding 2, 3, 6, 7 supply eaters in terms of points without any equipment in particular that'll help that. It's a good idea to bring bots into this kind of atmosphere rather than humans, but for whatever reason, those armor rigs have their advantages as well. You can use them in non-corrosive atmosphere as well, so that you get this extra combat ability and carrying capacity, which is kind of helpful. It makes you kind of like a bot. Anyway. The actual terrain here, though, is fairly hospitable with a 2 life support and all this vegetation and water that you see in that terrain. Those add as minuses to the environment factor in the life support. So I actually I've rolled well, and I haven't eaten a whole lot. I've gotten all the way down here now. I just ran into something. A vegetation hex is being explored, and the climate is tropical. Sends me to 48. Maybe I found a critter. Let's see. Alrighty. The expedition discovers a butterfly-like critter nibbling in foliage. Its wings have a span of over 10 inches and are strengthened by bird-like bone structure. Choose an encounter strategy. If I do communication or combat, the creature will zip away. So I guess I shouldn't have read that. Oh, that's if an asterisk comes up. Oh, well, I'm going to try to talk to it, I guess. It is, let's see what it looks like. It's a 48, because we get to make guesses as to its values. It's got a penalty to intelligence. Communicating with something that's dumb might not be a good idea. Now, I've discovered a 48. Okay, so I'd like to chat with it, but I don't think it's very smart. I'm going to just try to capture it. It is a butterfly after all. I wish I had the numbers more easily available. So it has a negative to aggression, which means I'd probably scare it away trying to chat with it too. Let's try to capture it. And the modifier for capture is the intelligence and aggression. That's -4. And I roll a 1, it's going to be an 11. It probably will run away. I didn't get an asterisk, so I don't get the special result. The creature is easily captured. A number of hours equal to the sum of the creature's positive attribute modifiers is expended. No combat. So I spend 3 hours. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have to make a supply check. I'm way over the limit. I may have to make 2. I think I'm just going to be short. Last time I moved into one of these terrains, I had to make 2. So I just captured this thing. And I'll put it in my E-cage. And it's about time to get back to the shuttle anyway, so that's kind of appealing. I'll probably charge back to the shuttle, just moving overland, and then do another exploration after I stock up on new supplies. Pretty cool. Remember the giant insects eating your shuttle event? That just happened. And I don't see a way I can get back. Right now my supplies are at, my supply range is at 7. And if I head through the mountains, I'm definitely not going to do it. That's 3, hill makes 5, light vegetation doesn't count. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That puts me to 18. Heading this way might be a little cheaper. That's hills 2, 4, 8, 9, 10. That gets me to 17, 1 over. I've got to hit here or earlier. And I just don't see a way of doing it. What that means is I lose this expedition except for the characters. Everything else is destroyed. Now, did I lose my shuttle? because there are not multiple shuttles on the ship. That's kind of an interesting situation. Let me try to figure this out, because there seems to only be one shuttle, but I don't think it's tracked as a resource. Maybe I make up I invent a new pod or something to run this. So they're not really able to be rescued by one of those other shuttles that exists. I don't know. Well, I'm sorry, my mission's a complete failure now. No further planetary exploration is possible at all. I'm gonna cheat here because I want to give more of a view of the game, I think. But I've lost. And this is why you always leave someone with the shuttle. But it's really hard to do. It's hard enough to do the exploration when you can't leave that shuttle. But this event is in there on every planet. And if you don't leave a crew member with the shuttle every time, you've got this problem. On the other hand, that means carrying an extra crew member with you. That's a painful, painful thing to do. But I think you just have to do it. And it makes the game a little harder. You can see I'm not anywhere near, I've spent 10 turns, and what have I gotten for victory points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've gotten maybe half of what I need to make up for those 10 turns. Now, you can bubble up some good victory points, but this is a rough game. I'm going to continue because I do want to keep showing you the game, although I think I've showed quite a bit already. It is a fun game, and I don't want to just give it up right now, and I don't want to start over because it isn't that much fun to just keep failing. And maybe I'll try to be good from now on in terms of the shuttlecraft. I am gonna, I'm gonna keep playing out this particular explorer. Okay, so I found this X-Wing or X-Wasp. Apparently, it's written out as a small flying insect with a reptilian-like skin, a literal dragonfly. It's got a special result involving combat that looks dangerous, but it's stupid, so I don't want to talk to it. So the combat result says asterisks will be an automatic capture, but the other side, if a combat is actually conducted, any result other than an A is incurred, one character not protected by Enviro Rig or Armor Rig, well, everybody's got one, so that sounds okay, would be affected by a venomous bite, and they take more damage. But there doesn't appear to be something bad about it, given that I'm armored. So I'm going to go fight this thing, and I'm going to go for capture combat. So we have to add the character's intelligence and aggression modifiers to the die roll result. Now this is the intelligence, I think this is the aggression, so I've got a -2 to my die roll. And that puts me at a 0, that's going to be 0-14. It's not an asterisk result, so I don't get the bonus there. I determine its aggression. Let's see, aggression looks like it's the third one. And then we check to see if it escapes. Okay, so its aggression is +1. That gives me a 9. It's got an aggression of 7. I don't think it's running away. I think it really wants to bite me. Alright, and now we go back. Okay, so we don't have to worry about the speed rating. In that case, if it fails to escape or if its aggression is greater, conduct combat. If its intelligence is negative, shift to the right a number of columns equal to the modifier. Well, that's a bonus for me. So I'm going to get 3 columns to the right. Given that, I'll choose my weapons. I've got an 8, 15 to 3. That gives me +12. I'm not going to use my stun gun against this thing. Unfortunately, I get a 6, which means I capture it and take 4 damage points. 4 damage points is fairly hefty, and I pretty much have to take that against the people. Although I'm carrying this bot kit, I could fix the bot with that. But CO and Med Officer, I'm going to take these all against the CO. The reason being, the Med Officer has trouble healing himself. And we got somebody new in the E-cage. And now I've got another supply check. Supply check was not a good one. I'm down. I had not grabbed my shuttle supply. I had been in the shuttle hex, but coming back in the morning, I didn't see that I had forgotten to do that and just started moving. So I only had 13 supplies left. Now I'm down to 3. I don't feel like I can continue with this mission at this point. And given that my shuttle supposedly got eaten. So I'm going to start heading back. What do we have here? Hold on. I'm already at the 11 supply marker for this turn. So, looks like some fast movement. And then if I can get some healing in, that's great. If not, hey, too bad. Well, other than losing the game on that mission, it actually worked out pretty well. I've got myself 2 new critters, including one with a victory point bonus here. This X-Wing Wasp, or whatever, has 2 extra victory points. So I've pulled in 4 extra victory points, and 8 more if I discover, well, I've got this one as well, so 5. Make it 7 more if I discover everything about it. We're getting to the point where we're actually getting some points here, aren't we? Finding critters is really the key to winning the game, although some of the things like the alien artifact can throw you a lot of points all at once. They're about the same as actually capturing critters. This is a game about capturing these critters. Alright, on to the next planet, and I may do healing and discovery on the animals, but discovery on the animals doesn't really help me. Healing would help me, and I certainly have some significant healing to do here. It would be nice to heal the maintenance officer. The CO is down to only 2 wounds after the doctor patched him up, some triage on the planet. Weapons officer is down to 2. The navigator is pretty hurt. He's probably not going down on any missions, although I want to heal him by the time the scenario ends, because that's worth a victory point. But is that worth an extra month? Probably not. Anyway, I think it's time for me to work. I'm not sure. Okay, moving on. I've gone up to New Alto here, which is far from its sun, but a small planet. When I got the planetary stats, it's got a light gravity, thin atmosphere, no water, no geology activity, life support value 3. But I can breathe there with that thin atmosphere. And the 3 locations were here, here, and here, which means to me I've got signs, and this is the most unlikely, signs of an alien city. That dictated that I would bring, say, the neuroscanner with me, because I think that'll help with that. I'm not sure what all these tools really do in some cases. So for example, the scanner helps you avoid getting surprised, and that's kind of cool. Some things get surprised. Climb kit, we know what that does. So I kind of know what everything that I've got available for actual tools does. But there's a couple of robots here that I'm never quite sure. This I Am robot, or Imribot or something. I'm not sure what he's good for. He's not very fast. He's not slow. He doesn't carry a lot. His weapons abilities aren't terribly good. Maybe there's some event that says, hey, if you've got him with you, you've got some great bonus. The Reconabot, again, I haven't seen anything where he works like a scanner. Let me just look to see if there's any information on these bots, but I don't think there is. Yeah. I don't think there's anything to help guide you, and for me, there's 2 that are valuable. The Ambot, which I'm bringing with me with its heavy carrying capacity, and the Specibot, which is really good at combat. I've actually got quite a force here. I've got 3, because it's thin atmosphere, I didn't need an envirosuit or anything like that. I've got 3 characters with me. I'm bringing the commanding officer with me. He's got a couple of wounds on him. I'm actually hoping to heal him. He's going to stay with the shuttle, but I may swap him out because of his high intelligence if I get a chance. I've also got like 50 supplies with me, which is just humongous. I would have a lot less if I brought the rover with me. The rover was a concept, but it eats supply, and it means I have a lot less supplies. When I have somebody to stick behind with the shuttle, there's no reason for the rover. And this is kind of the weird thing. It's like I've got a big enough crew with me that I don't need the rover particularly, so the hell with it, you know? I mean, bringing the captain along is 5 points, and now I don't need to worry about speeding back to try to catch the shuttle as it's devoured by insects, as should have ended my game on the last planet. All right. So we get to roll to see which one I'm going to get. And by the way, I'm at about half my total victory points. I counted them up. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of these guys has a bonus. Plus 12 puts me to 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And I'm not quite halfway through my tour, so I'm actually doing pretty good if I hadn't lost already, right? The last planet was a good one. Okay, so I get to roll to see what I'm getting. And I may bug out if I don't get something I like. I'm not sure what that means. 6. I get the one I wanted. That's the alien city. That's going to put me down at 0413. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Maybe I didn't get the alien city. Result 6. No, hex 0909. I read the wrong number. 0909, which puts me here. Hey, we've been there before. And then I go to paragraph 126. Let's see what we discover here. The shuttle has landed on a barren plain at the edge of a seemingly endless ice field. Far to the east, the glint of bright metal. Oh, shit. All alien city hexes. So this is the same one I had on the other planet? Where only this is a city and the rest is ice field? Is that possible? I don't think this is allowed. What planet was it that I had this with before? It was Piccole, and there was no number like this. Interesting. Yeah, but that's the 93. Let's see if Piccole's 86 or 95 could get me to the same title. That's annoying. If that's the case. I thought I had something good. 119. Oh, 806. That's not it. I think I may have cheated and done this planet before, and this is gonna suck. I don't know. Let me come back after I figure. Somehow I think I crapped out and got the wrong result here. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. You know, I mean, obviously I fucked up there. Let me see if I can do something to fix this. But my mission was based on the paragraphs. Alright, well, we'll play this one out again. Same situation. I got no idea what else to do. So I'll start working with this one. So I'm moving along. I'm getting pretty lucky with my supply checks. I've only eaten like 3 or 4 supplies over the course of all this exploration. However, I ran into a new critter. This is a number 72. The hard ground in front of the expedition suddenly explodes upward as an indescribable blue form erupts from beneath the rock, its tendrils streaming in all directions. I have to check for surprise. There'll be a column shift and combat immediately if that's not the case. Otherwise, I can choose an encounter strategy. And I don't want to flee because there's asterisk results, and I never do anyway. Okay, so let's check for surprise. I don't remember what the numbers on that are. Gotta look everything up in this game, and you do that a lot. I don't have the scanner, so it's surprise on a 4 through 6. Oops. Okay, so I gotta pick a combat strategy, and I am going to go with capture combat, because that's why I'm here. I'm not here just to kill critters. So for capture combat, I add the creature's intelligence and aggression modifiers to the die result to see what happens. Now the creature's ratings are not on there. Intelligence is the first, aggression is the third, so that adds up to a +3. So I get a 7. That gives me column or paragraph 23. So now we look that up and see what's involved here. Determine the creature's aggression rating. If the aggression is 4 or less, we do other stuff. Great. And this is the annoying part of the game. If these, if you had the print and play version or whatever, you probably don't have everything all bound in one rule book, but it never worked well because of this. So I got to figure out his aggression. His aggression is +2. And I get an 11, which gives him an aggression of 9. That's quite high. All right. So now we go back to some paragraph number. I think it was 23. This is how you lose your paragraph, right? Although there's no good excuse for the planets. I have no idea how I lost that easily. Okay, it's not 4 or less. If the aggression rating is 5 or higher, I do combat, and I pick the best of the intelligence or speed modifier. Ooh, it's time to look up all those again. Intelligence is the first, speed is the last, so I'm going to get 1 column shift against me. Now we go to the combat table, and in order to play this, I don't remember what I need. I have to determine the combat differential. That's 8.5. I forgot that because, I don't play all that much in a row, so I forget everything. So, determine the combat rating. Oh, wait, now I go to 8.4 for that. We did this before, didn't we, where we followed the chain of trail? This is the annoying side of SPI rules. They don't have to do it this way. Combat is a specific rating. That's what confused me, and it confused me before. It is at +1. And that is which number? Looks like the second number. So we'll roll that up. My combat is only a 4. I mark that down because I've got victory points for these as long as my mission survives. So now, my combat ability is 7, 14, 15 if I throw the M-bot in, to 4. That's an 11 or more. I take a column shift against me because of his intellect, and I roll a die. I'm not going to use a stun bomb because he's not strong enough. 3, I succeed. I'm going to take a damage point, however. Now, where do I want to take that? Well, I'm going to take it on my science officer. And now my E-cage is filled with this critter. And I've succeeded in capturing another critter. And when I bring him back, he's +3 victory points. So he's essentially worth 8 victory points. That's a big chunk of what I need to succeed. A quick run back to the shuttle. I healed the science officer. Grabbed new supplies, dropped off my little monster here at the shuttle. I've got 2 E-cages now. I dropped the holographer away. I don't really need that. I was planning on taking videos of the city. I don't know. Somehow in my head I think taking holographs of buildings sounds reasonable. Maybe I remember something from this game, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I've got plenty of supplies, so I'm going to keep exploring. I just don't know what I'm going to explore in particular. Managed to explore about half the planet. I got the same event. Now, when you get the same event as a critter you've already captured, it's just ignored. It's not clear whether or not you ignore it completely, the paragraph, or if you just ignore the encounter and move further down the paragraph to see if there's more, i.e. whether or not the short circuiting gets ignored. I chose to continue on down the paragraph. Nothing showed up though. Anyway, I came back here, filled up my food again. I still got plenty in the shuttle. And I'm going to set out and try to explore the other half of the environment. That's all I got. All right, it looks like I met yet another creature in this environment, 167. The expedition discovers what appears to be a metallic sculpture of an antelope-like creature. After expending an hour, which I have to spend there, kind of reminds me again of Source of the Nile, which words things in that sort of way. The cards events tell you what you did in just this sort of way after expending 1 hour, kind of without there being any part of the rules that explains that. To inspect the seemingly lifeless statue, it wakes up. Choose an encounter strategy. The net gun and stun bomb have no strength against the creature. Okay. Well, once again, we read up on the creature stats because this game would help from a little cheat sheet. Intelligence, combat, aggression, speed. It's got a minus to intelligence. I'm going to try to capture it. I don't feel like communicating with dumb creatures. Okay, so for capture or kill, we add what? Aggression? Okay, add the creature's intelligence and aggression to the die roll result. Intelligence is -1, aggression is -1, so I'm at -2 here. I get a 2. Oops. I should only roll 1 die. I'm at -2. I get a 3. And that gives me paragraph 20. We'll see if we get to encounter this thing. Conduct combat. Add together the creature's intelligence, aggression, and speed if they're modifiers. If the sum is positive, it's 2 columns to the left, otherwise 2 columns to the right. Well, the sum is negative, so there's going to be an advantage in fighting this thing because it's made of metal. Remember, the stun bomb and net gun don't work on it. But I've got a lot of combat capability here. I've got 7, 8, and 7 makes 15. This thing's combat rating, which is, I believe, the second number, is a modifier of 0. I don't remember what number I just spoke. Okay, I get an 8, which means I get a combat rating of 6. Let's see if I'm on the top chart. I probably am. 8 and 7 is 15, minus 6 is 9, but I get a shift in my favor. And we're trying to capture, of course. Oh, B. Okay, we do capture it, but we're taking 4 damage points. That's probably good enough. And we'll do that damage to our science officer, who we healed before. Now that hurts my carry capacity. I'm down 4 in carry capacity. I had 10, 19, 22. I may not have enough to carry all the food I'm carrying. 22, 5, 6, that means 16. It looks like I'm okay. Oh, no, I didn't count in the minus. So I've got to throw 4 food away. Now, wait a minute. I'm allowed to throw food away as damage, am I not? I seem to remember that. I'll be back. Yes, I've been ignoring that roll. I can take the food as damage. Since I took 4 damage, I take it as my supply points. I'm in no risk in supply points. And that would have reduced the amount of damage I've taken throughout the game because quite often I've been able to get back to the shuttle. Oh well. I put a marker there. And now I'm going to continue on. I still have plenty of food, so I'm going to work my way back towards the shuttle, I think. The reason being, hey, I can drop off another critter. So here I'm back at the shuttle, and I've got a bunch of glacier to explore. I've got the food to do it. I've got, you know, everything game-wise to be able to do it. But I kind of don't want to. Let me explain why. I really don't believe there's anything left to find. I think I found the critters on this planet. I found something before. Oh no, I didn't find anything before, but I found 2 critters already. I doubt highly that in all this glacier ice there's another critter, but there may be. Now, in game terms, obviously I want to continue, and I will, because I'm stupid this way. But in personal terms, my feeling is, Jesus, I'm wasting my time. And of course, you could say the whole game is kind of like that. There's a very tedious aspect to the exploration, the paragraph lookups and all that. It's more fun when you're playing with someone, not so much fun when you're playing with a camera and talking to it. I think probably this is the least fun way to do a solo game like this. But it just feels like a time killer to me to play it out. However, I feel like also I am perhaps giving something up, although I think there is still one glacier event that I've seen that I haven't been able to get. I saw it in one of the other terrain types, I think. But it sounds like it's a disaster, actually, the way it's worded. But anyway, because it includes when you're moving hastily, and usually it's only bad things that include moving hastily. But that's okay, we'll keep. Almost done with the one I was looking, or almost done with the spaces, and I hit the one I'm looking for, essentially. 034, I didn't know this existed, but a delegation of 15-foot high quadrupeds. This is because there's an alien city somewhere in the environment. Materialize in front of the expedition. Each is armored with a possible natural exoskeleton of a translucent plastic-like substance. Though parts of the covering is not embossed with symbols and colors, the complicated bubbling internal systems of each ominous figure is suggested. Although there is no visible means of support, each alien is floating a few inches above the ground. One member of the group raises an appendage holding a glowing prism towards the expedition. The expedition may attempt to communicate, to fight, or to flee. Well, I'm going to try to communicate. That puts me to 195. And hopefully I'll be able to follow the path here. Let's see if that works. The aliens are obviously of a far superior intellect and quickly discern the nature of the expedition. They communicate together in a high-pitched tones for a moment. Roll a die. Subtract 1 from the result for each of the following: the commander, the science officer, and the neuroscanner. Well, I don't have the neuroscanner with me, but I do have the science officer. And we'll see what my results are here. I'm only at a -1. I get a 1, that's the good result. If the die result is 1 or less, the aliens grant the expedition full permission to continue the explorations, as long as no alien structure or city hex is entered after leaving the currently occupied one. If this edict is broken, the player immediately goes to 210. I'm going to get 7 victory points for this, and then I get to keep working. Now, that doesn't seem terribly exciting, but, well, I don't know if there are any terribly, I don't know what the other options are, but that's what I got out of it. If I meet them again, maybe I'll try something else. I should get some kind of prize. I explored the entire environment. I also managed to heal my commanding officer. The relaxation time on a planet seems to have helped him somehow, as opposed to, say, along with scaring off insects, by the way, they showed up again, seems to have helped him out a little bit. So he's feeling fine now. Well, the doctor came by and gave him a shot of something. And let's see. Space grog. I'll just push these over, but I've finished my exploration of New Alto. And where I am right now, point-wise, by my calculation, because I'm going to collect up on all the different critters I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 critters, 5 critters. That's going to get me 20 points right there from their stats once I discover them. Plus 5 for holding the critters themselves. That puts it to 25. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Plus 7 puts me to 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. I'm getting close. I said I was halfway before. No, I was halfway to 30. 60 is my goal. I have to get double the victory points. So I need another 16 victory points. I should be able to get that, but not by the way I was going on the earlier exploration that I was doing, but as I've been getting deeper into the game. But here's the problem. These are all larger planets except for this one. So it may be difficult to get to that 16 points in the time required. And remember, I need to do the healing. I need to spend a month in particular finding out what these animals have. That's all part of the issue here. All right, I'll load this one up. You know, just as I didn't quit on the planet, I kind of want to quit on the game because it is very, very tedious. Exciting idea, not a lot of fun to play these types of things. Solo-only games or designed for solo games usually tend to not really thrill me. And even this one, which I consider a brilliant design, is still just a matter of, you know, rolling on all these charts and checking everything. Carrier left you lots, just looking at some of the ones that I've played, you know, on video at least. I think the only one I've played maybe is Carrier. Carrier allows you the same kind of thing where you have a lot of room to make strategy and to plan and try to prepare your planes to face the Japanese, but the truth is you're really rolling and doing all this tedious chart maintenance type work. There's a lot of chart work and random rolls and this, that, and the other in something like Great Battles of History, but I'm making decisions in between each of those against myself. Here, I'm just playing against the charts. Carrier, I have to make the decisions against the charts, something like this, or something like Source of the Nile, or I don't know, a whole bunch, pretty much most of these solo design games. What I'm doing is I'm playing against a system, and study of that system is the only way I can get better. And what I get better at is learning the system enough that I can figure out the probabilities and make the correct choices all the time. I enjoy these games, like Source of the Nile, Tales of the Arabian Nights, a lot more when I'm sitting with other people, where we can all laugh at what happened to us. It's not too interesting to me to do that alone. I don't really like laughing alone. Even on camera, it doesn't match the experience. For me, these type of games only serve as a backdrop for a more social experience. Whereas I have no problem playing a purely opposed game. Even something like Go, I've played solitaire and gotten some pleasure from. I'm just making decisions against myself. That's more interesting to me than, you know, flipping through charts and books to see what randomly happens, trying to optimize the values on that. None of that's terribly great for me.